Hey everyone, welcome back to another recap podcast from SNXweave, where we give quick weekly recaps of news and important updates from the previous week from the Spartan Council and core contributors, as well as discuss what the Grants Council and ambassadors are up to, so let's get started. On the V2X side of things, SIP 288 should be wrapped up this week. We're just waiting on 1inch to finish integrating on their side. SIP 299 is also coming along as it's currently in audit for a pre-review. Right now, V3 work is focused on spot markets, R&D on scalability, and cross-chain liquidity and the rewards manager. Then the migration plan is the last main thing the CCs want to make sure everyone is on the same page about. As for Perps V2, it should be going to testnet this week with all of the audit feedback implemented. David just got through the premium discount stuff, so SNXweave said the next step is working through some of the downstream side effects of the premium discount. And in exciting news, Anton is going to be helping out with Perps V2. Since he was the original architect on the Perps V1 contracts and understands them very well, he's going to be code reviewing and helping out on mechanism stuff and anywhere else he can. Staking V2 is also expected to go live hopefully this week, as it was released internally last week amongst the CCs and some of the DAOs for a first round review. Towards the end of the call last week, the Spartan Council discussed the C ratio after Nana brought up wanting to lower it. Burr pointed out that Gauntlet recently said they have some updated data and that it would be a good idea to see what their models are saying. SNXweave said they wouldn't want to lower it at the moment, but are open to seeing Gauntlet's analysis. Tara and Ale also stressed wanting to see the data before putting it to a vote. Lastly, Tara asked if anybody had observations on how the system had held up during the period of volatility. SNXweave said everything seemed to be functioning smoothly, and that there weren't a significant number of forced liquidations. He added that the perps market also held up really well, with the circuit breaker kicking in a few times on Solana because there were huge dislocations throughout the market. And in even better news, the perps markets have actually been net positive for the protocol through this period of volatility. There were also several SIP presentations last week, all for V3, so let's briefly review them. SIP 304 proposes a liquidation mechanism for V3 where liquidated positions have their collateral and debt distributed among other participants in the vault. And if an entire vault is liquidated, all or part of its collateral is seized by the system and sold to repay debt. Basically, this proposes two types of liquidations. One where you'll be able to liquidate a position, and another where you can liquidate an entire vault in certain circumstances. Tara asked if there's any incentive to set up a bot that pulls your liquidity prior to another vault participant being liquidated. SNXweave said a liquidation event is going to be kept neutral to the user, so there's no incentive to run away from it or step in and try to steal it. Next, SIP 305 proposes a system for providing rewards in V3. The idea is to create an abstract interface that allows all sorts of rewards to be handled and distributed across vaults and specific pools. Basically, there will be multiple pools, where each pool has a vault for each collateral type, and each vault has a rewards manager. Noah explained that the pool owner is allowed to attach a rewards distributor to a rewards manager, adding that the rewards manager is a sort of abstraction of the staking rewards contract, where it's able to see the pro rata debt distribution across all of the stakers participating in the vault. SIP 308 for market-provided collateral was also presented, which proposes adding functionality that allows markets to increase their credit in the system by depositing collateral directly in the protocol. Noah said this SIP is basically an abstraction that allows the creation of wrappers and spot markets in V3. Fundamentally, this allows a market to be able to deposit any of the accepted collateral types in the protocol itself. Then the collateral is credited to its balance sheet at whatever the value is according to the protocol. Lastly, SIP 309 proposes adding functionality that allows markets to prevent withdrawal of delegated collateral. This is basically just proposing an additional piece to the interface where a market can say how much collateral is locked. And when it's locked, the pools that are backing the market can't reduce the amount of liquidity that is being provided to the market below a dollar-denominated value being specified by it. SNXweave simplified this by saying it's basically a way to lock collateral to make sure it stays attached to the debt. In Grants Council updates, Max and CT sat down with Jake from D-Hedge to talk about the grant that the council awarded them and to clarify some expectations. Max was able to give input on how to improve their documentation as well. Max also had a chat with Big Key about the stats page, who asked if Max could review his code. Since Big Key is busy building a Dune Analytics dashboard with all of the data for the stats page, Max has been working with him on which data points to add. The council also discussed the NFT lore, for which they read several different story paths. They have chosen one path to pursue, and the author has been given feedback about which to expand on and other details to include in the lore. Lastly, in case you missed it, the new Loans UI went live last week. You can now use this dedicated site to manage your SUSD and SETH loans. New features include viewing your liquidation price and previewing your C ratio when managing your loan. There's currently a Google Doc open in the grants announcement channel for any feedback that the community has related to the new Loans UI, so be sure to share your experience there and help the Grants Council improve this for the future. In ambassador updates, the team hosted another Spartan Space last week, this time with Synthetics Core contributors Fief, DB, and Noah to talk about V3, so be sure to check out our blog post for a nice review of that call. And speaking of review, the Ambassador's key performance indicators for October are in. As a reminder, the Council uses these various indicators to measure their level of outreach, and at the end of each month, we report them to maintain accountability. Over the course of October, the Ambassadors were successful in hosting Spartan Spaces, accumulating delegated tokens, participating in governance forums, and integrating with other protocols. The full list of KPIs can also be found in our blog, so don't forget to give them a read. And that's it for today's updates. Be sure to check out our weekly recap blog post, share this podcast link, and let us know what you think and what you'd like to hear more about from SNXweave. Thanks for listening.